I love lifting heavy, awkward things and running around. For as far back as I can remember, since I was like a little kid, I was inappropriately energetic. I was a little terror. I would come home from elementary school and I'd go out back into the field behind my house and I would just sprint back and forth, attacking trees with sticks and digging holes and filling them in just for the fun of digging holes and filling them in until I was exhausted. As I grew up, I realized pretty quickly that my real strength in athletics lay in my endurance. That the longer, the more grinding, the more grueling things were, I loved them. And the more likely I was to excel at them. So I got into competitive distance running. I got into open ocean rowing. I got into 50Ks. I would go out for 4 or 5 hours in my rowing shell, cruise around the Gulf of Maine, Casco Bay. It was great. But I'm sure you've heard this before. As I got older, I took on more responsibility. I started a business, and it just wasn't possible for me to find, time every day to go out rowing. It's hard enough for me to find 5 minutes in the morning to shave, let alone a couple hours to go out rowing. I remember a couple of years ago, I went through like a whole week where I didn't have any time to exercise, and I started to get pretty frustrated. And Friday night, I hosted this big wine tasting. Afterwards, I broke down. I went to the nearest Planet Fitness, jumped on the rowing machine, and it scratched that itch. I got that physical outlet that I needed. I started going to the gym regularly, and it worked for that immediate physical need, but it didn't. I started to develop a couple of problems with it. I was kind of conflicted about it. You think of going to the gym, there's all these people there in this building doing the same kind of activities, all there for the same reasons, working out, and yet they don't interact with each other. People work really hard not to make eye contact at the gym, even though they're there doing the same things. Everybody, myself included, I'm there as an individual. I'm there to get exercise for myself. All these other people, don't really come into that. And also, I think that if you could magically bring someone from 80 years ago into the present day and take them to a gym, they would look at this and say, what has happened to the future? You are all crazy. Even 50, 60 years ago, I think there was so much physical labor in people's day-to-day lives, just walking around, chopping wood, hauling, hay and feed around, mucking out horse stalls. The idea that you would have to go and seek out more manual labor, people just wouldn't even comprehend that. This is a very modern, very recent problem that we've had of having to, get exercise somehow. All of us need some kind of physical outlet. So I would leave the gym and I get this physical satisfaction, but I would have this feeling, this kind of sad feeling like of loss. The idea of going, I'd think there must have been something better that I could do with my time. I go to the gym and I made this short video here. That's what I do at the gym. That's how it goes. Nothing changes. That was an hour and 3 minutes into my exercise on the stationary rowing machine. I'm not really accomplishing anything there. So I'd get out and I'd have this feeling of like, what did I really just do? I didn't get it. I didn't understand, though, until my friends and I started a moving company. Most people hate moving, hence the opportunity, the need for someone to start a moving company. Most people hate moving because who in their right mind would want to lift heavy, awkward things and run around? The first job that I worked on, it was like 3 hours of me just sprinting up and down stairs carrying boxes I was working with one of my best friends, Jake, one of the other partners in the company. I had a fantastic time. Both of us did. We got a great workout. I was working with a friend of mine, and we helped these people. There was this immediate, tangible result. Jake had the same idea. It was this eureka moment that exercise doesn't have to be isolating, and that manual labor, if you're working with other people in the right setting, it can be a lot of fun. So my friend Jake, my friend Liz, and I all came to this same idea, and that was the inspiration for GruntMatch. GruntMatch is a movement to connect active individuals in the community with manual labor, that benefits people, that has some result. We decided we wanted to work, physical labor back into our lives somehow. We put our feelers out. Portland Trails picked up on it. So our first GruntMatch was for Portland Trails, spreading gravel on a new trail that they had built out on the East End. We got a bunch of our friends together, broke up into 2 teams. That's a picture of me with my team there, getting ready to start shoveling gravel. We had wheelbarrow races out from this pile of gravel in the middle of the trail. We had people raking, we had people shoveling. Portland Trails thought that it would take approximately 10 man-hours to do this job. We got done in 45 minutes. And not just did we get this done, all of the people there, all of us were all talking and interacting and having a good time together. We had this semi-competitive aspect going. We finished, we caught our breaths, and we basked in the glow of actually having done something and looked at this trail. So we went on from there. We did more grunt matches with Portland Trails. We did a grunt match for the Habitat for Humanity's Restore, the city of Portland in their Brickyard. My favorite was moving building materials for a trail out in Falmouth, out on the Presumpscot River. Portland Trails had these 10-foot 2x6s that they needed to move out to build bridges. And I realized that I could get 2 of them up at once and then balance them on top of my head and jog out the trail. I had a great time, that was an accomplishment. But the really cool thing about it, it wasn't just about me doing this. There were all these other people there, and you don't have to be as crazy or as hyperactive as me, to partake in this. There were all these other things that needed to be moved out the trail. There were all these other 2x4s and tools and stuff like that. So there were all these other people moving things, and whatever their skill level, their fitness level, they could take part of it and be there for it. I want to change the way that people think about labor and the way that people think about exercise. That exercise doesn't have to just be isolating and for you. Manual labor doesn't have to be, something that you dread. I want to connect these things. GruntMatch wants to spread this idea and give that sense of satisfaction to people, that sense of doing something, of accomplishing something. To do that, we need work. If you have a beach that you need to spread sand on to fight erosion, if you have a trail that needs to be built, if you have a park that needs to be cleaned up, if you have, and I know it's out there, and I will find it eventually, if you have a dead car that's sunk in a wetland somewhere, I want to get a team of guys together with chains to haul it out of there. So, GruntMatch.